My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is The Acquired Taste. We're live on Twitter, live on Facebook, and most importantly, we are live on YouTube. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday and had a great weekend. Again, my name is Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia producing today's show. We have a special guest today. We're going to have Hector Ledesma, the head guy over at Sports Tonight. We'll be on in about 15 minutes to talk about Victor Wembanyama balling out last night in the Summer League. It was so much fun to watch, but as I mentioned, Joe Garcia producing today's show. What's going on, Joe?
Oh, nothing, man. We both had busy weekends. I enjoyed the superhero car show and Comic-Con over there on Saturday at the Freeman Coliseum. It was a lot of fun. It was hot, so hot, dude. And I actually ran into Brie Larson as I was walking back to my car. She actually gave me a ride back to my car.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I was walking behind one of the buildings. And as we're walking behind one of the buildings, security stops me and it's like, "Where are you going, sir?" I'm like, "I'm walking to my car. I have my media badge on and everything." And just at that moment, the doors open and Brie Larson comes out with her crew. And she just looks at me because I'm talking with the security. And she goes, "Are I giving you a hard time?" She goes, "Do you need a ride back to your car?" Because she heard me talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, I was just walking back to my car." She goes, "Hop on, we'll give you a ride." So she
that
dropped
is badass. That is badass. No photo evidence, though,
no
right?
Photo
evidence.
I just got in the car and she just dropped me off. She was really nice.
That's very cool. You know, I saw a lot of photos online of Andrew Garfield, who was out there doing the meet and greets, the autographs, and the photos, and he did not appear to be excited at all in any of the photos I saw on Twitter. Just Google image or actually tweet out Andrew Garfield on a search.
I'm just here for the check.
Yeah, and he's just there kind of looking sheepish, like, what the hell am I doing
maybe
at the Freeman Coliseum?
Well, to his credit, maybe he's not used to doing things like this.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they said it was his first Comic-Con type of thing
it might
in
have
North
been.
America.
I don't think he was used to this kind of thing.
Now, I'm not saying that he was rude because I don't know,
No.
but every photo that I saw of him at the Freeman Coliseum, he looked like he did not want to be there.
He just looked a little uncomfortable,
Out
like
of place.
nervous, you know?
Yeah.
It's probably because, like you said, this is his first event.
Maybe he's introverted. Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. But I'm sure he pulled up to the Freeman Coliseum and goes, "You serious? We're doing this here? This is where I'm spending my Friday and Saturday. I'm a multi-millionaire. This is where we're spending it, right?"
Yeah.
My weekend absolutely was lazy. Okay. I had so many big plans. I was going to go watch Paramore.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
They performed last night at the Moody in Austin. And I was looking at tickets, and I didn't buy the tickets originally because they were expensive. You're looking at like $250 with the fees, $230 with the fees, just for the cheap seats. But Sunday came around, and I started hitting refresh. And every hour that went by, the ticket prices went down by $10, to the point that by 3:00, I'm messaging my nephews, "Anybody want to go with me?" My daughter didn't want to go with me. She's a huge Paramore fan. And my wife didn't want to go because she hates crowds. And the tickets were now $70, including the fees. And they were actually pretty decent seats. And I didn't want to go alone. And now that I think about it, I probably should have. I probably should have gone alone. But I've never been to a concert by myself before. So maybe I was going to feel a little bit weird about that. Again, we're live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you can leave a comment and we can read them in real time. So we're excited to have you on here. Lots to get into today. A lot of things to get into. Obviously, we'll be talking about Victor Wembanyama going insane yesterday. Had a great performance at the Summer League game. Who cares if the Spurs lost that game? We all won as Spurs fans because we saw him bounce back from, let's just admit it, it was an embarrassing game one on Friday night. We're going to talk about that with Hector Ledesma from Sports Tonight, who will be with us in about 10 minutes or so. Team USA Soccer, big night, beat Canada in a shootout in a crazy match. No goal scored the first 88 minutes. And then all the action happened thereafter, went into a shootout. We'll be talking about that in pop culture news. Jamie Foxx is apparently alive and well. I'm happy. I'm not sad about this. I'm happy. But are we ever going to find out what the hell happened and why he's still at the rehab facility? But the dude is alive and well. We'll get into Jamie Foxx. Yeah. And over the weekend, I finally came to the conclusion that I want to watch the Barbie movie.
Oh, man.
I went to the movies this weekend and I saw the full trailer, the updated trailer.
It looks kind of funny, dude.
It looks funny.
Yeah.
It looks funny. I think I think it's making fun of itself more than anything
Exactly. Did you see that one scene where it goes, "I'm gonna beat you off"?
Whoa.
I was like, what?
That is Joe Garcia producing today's show. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed on YouTube. Did you know that tomorrow is going to be the 1 month anniversary, if you will, the 1 month marker of us announcing that this podcast was going to exist. And we have about 3 weeks worth of shows. And our goal was to have 400 subscribers at the end of month 1, and a stretch goal of 500. And I logged on just a few minutes ago, and we were at 493.
Oh, we do got Hector on standby.
I'll get to him in a quick second. But that is 7 shy of 500. We'll get to 500. I don't care if I have to go to a sports bar and go person to person, door to door, and ask for a subscription, because I ain't too proud to beg. And because of that, I kind of want to mention something, and I'm not going to name names.
If you know, you know.
But yesterday, the Twitter beef that I somehow got involved in that I had nothing to do about was hysterical. Okay? We had somebody who took a veiled shot at me and Joe. And it is somebody who's notorious for doing that type of crap. And the veiled shot was basically saying that we were desperate, right? That we were the kind of people who, like, why can't you just have a podcast grow organically? Why do you have to beg for people to subscribe and all that stuff? This is obviously someone who doesn't understand business. And then when I looked up what they do for a living, it's marketing. Okay. So the fact of the matter is that, yeah, we do ask people to subscribe. We ask people to share this. We ask people to listen. You know why? Because in the absence of that, nobody would.
Yeah, you got to tell your listeners.
We have to tell our listeners. And right now we have Jason Garcia making comments, Chris Gonzalez, Chris Leja. You guys are the backbone of our show, and spread the gospel, spread the word. What are we doing here? We're trying to fill in the gaps of sports talk radio here in San Antonio, because Ticket 760, for all intents and purposes, is dying right now. And then you have San Antonio Sports Star has no desire to do any local programming from 10 to 2. So we're trying to fill in the gaps. And we're heading into the part of the year where it's going to be very sports heavy. Cowboys are going to be starting their season in September. You've got UTSA football, UT football, A&M, the Spurs, the beginning of Victor Wembanyama preseason games, regular season games in October. Lots to get into, lots to talk about. This is going to be a network. We're not selling a podcast. We are selling a network. The ability to say that if these 2 other stations don't want to have local programming, then damn it, we will. And it's going to be a movement here. And the fact that we have 493 YouTube subscribers, and by the way, YouTube represents about, if you go on there and go, oh, well, they had a couple hundred views, right? YouTube represents right now about 30 to 35% of our viewership.
Yeah.
Because people are still watching on Twitter. People are still watching on Facebook. And we're slowly but surely migrating them onto this platform, because the Fantasy Gods, our second show, is going to premiere August 6th. And now we're in talks with people locally about doing some centric shows about UTSA football, for example. Maybe we have one about the NBA, college football, weekly content, not daily stuff, but weekly content that we can put on the Acquired Taste Network and that people can consume.
Yeah.
But you know what? I ain't too proud to beg. Of course I'm asking people to subscribe. That is how you do things. I'm a businessman. I have a financial practice. I have a successful financial practice. By the way, those who go into finance, 4 out of 5 fail the first 2 years. Only like 5% last after 10. And I'm 17 years in. You know why? Because I treat my business like a business. This is not necessarily a podcast. This is a business, is what we're creating.
Exactly.
We're not doing this for fun. We're doing this to dominate and take over. I'm looking at the counter right now saying that by the end of today, we'll be at 500 YouTube subscribers. San Antonio Sports Star has 1,250. We're 40% of the way of catching up to them. And by the end of the year, I'm going to make it my goal, even if I have to go door to door, to have more subscribers, more viewers, and more listeners than my former station. That is the goal. And then to provide the content, because if they don't want to do it,
you can.
We can.
Yeah.
And then it's with the help of other podcasters here locally who want to jump on this network. Show to us, prove to us that you can do it. Create a pilot. DM me, send me something. But we're going to party this weekend.
Send us a mixtape.
Send us a mixtape. We're going to party this weekend because we're going to have subscriber number 500. And I said when we got to 500, we'd go karaoke. So whoever wants to take part in this,
oh man,
I might buy a shot. Okay, I'm not paying for everybody's tab. Okay, this is not a quinceañera. This is not a wedding.
It's not the Rue Pub.
This is just we're getting together to celebrate getting to 500. But man, we have a big show. Let's get it going with Hector Ledesma, the big guy in charge from Sports Tonight. I've known Hector Ledesma for the better part of 20 years. Goodness, we're getting old. But man, Hector, we want to get in and talk to you about the San Antonio Spurs. Okay, that's a big lie. I don't want to talk to you about the Spurs. I want to talk to you about Victor Wembanyama. Hector, how you doing, my man?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Oh, dude, you know, it's just day number 30 and trying to take over the world. That's basically it.
Yes. So then from what I'm getting, and by the way, Joe, hey, Joe, how are you, man? It's good to hear you.
I'm doing good. Hey, thanks for having, being on the show with us, man.
No, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. So Mike and Joe, what you guys are telling me then is that like when you do something, you're supposed to let people know that you're doing it? Like that's
that's the way it works.
Okay. So then the model shouldn't be I'm going to try to do something, but I'm not going to let anybody else know about it so that I can just do it and just do it for myself only. That's not the way it works in terms
the word was organically. The word was organically. What kind of crap is that, man?
Organically?
Yes. Nothing happens organically, it's all about working hard and having a little bit of luck along the way. It's like poker, by the way. It's having a little bit of luck along the way. But we're speaking of poker, in a moment after we talk to Hector, we're going to give a shout out to a poker player here in San Antonio who's about to cash at the main event of the World Series of Poker. And she's going to be on our show in the next week or so. So I'm super excited about that. I'm predicting that because we've been going back and forth on DMing each other. But Rhonda DiMartino is 10 spots away as they shuffle up and deal at 2 p.m. San Antonio time, 10 spots away from getting into the cash. Right now, sitting at over 300,000 chips. She's great, man. She's great. She's going to kill it, dude.
Yeah, that's someone that you don't want to go against in a tournament, man.
Dude, she cashed out for $105,000 a couple of weeks ago at San Antonio Card House. $105,000. Showed the photo, the evidence of all the chips in front of her. She cleaned out a 10-20 game.
Wow,
incredible.
Man. She's got skill.
She does. We're talking to Hector Ledesma of Sports Tonight. Friday night was one of those things where Victor Wembanyama makes his debut in the Summer League. And everyone's all excited. It was a sold-out crowd. People were paying $1,500 for court seats to a Summer League game. And I don't want to say he wet the bed, but you can tell he was not into it at all. Then the bounce back last night showing the world this is why I'm called a generational talent, going out there and just destroying Portland. Had a great game. What are your thoughts, Hector, on the bounce back? Because I don't want to reflect too much on the first game, but the bounce back, what did that show you?
Can I just say one real quick thing about the first game, Mike? I think it's this. Spurs fans, Spurs Nation, like it's okay that he wasn't great on Friday. Like we don't have to twist ourselves in knots to be like, well, there's this and well, there's that. Like he wasn't good offensively on Friday. And that's okay. Like he's 19 years old, everything's well documented in terms of what he's been going through and all the hype and all the travel and the whole nine, right? So we get it. But we don't have to be apologetic and we don't have to go, outside ourselves to really make excuses. He was great defensively in that ball game. It was evident, but offensively he wasn't good. And that's okay to say. Like that doesn't mean he's not going to be good come the start of the regular season, and that certainly doesn't mean he's not going to be good 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 10 years down the road, what have you. So let's do ourselves a favor and not do the political game where when somebody else's guy does it, you hammer him. When our own guy does it, it's like, well, there's these reasons for it. It's okay. He wasn't good offensively. That being said, and I get off my, I digress, right? I get off my soapbox. I think you could still see on Friday what you saw last night, the difference being the shots went in and he got into some better spots. Is what he is evident. And we've been hearing about it from the get-go, right? From the moment he kind of stepped on, and the rest of us, the Spurs have been tracking him for a while. But from the moment the rest of us kind of got wind of, oh, this is the guy that the Spurs are going to be tanking for, you could see what it was. A guy that 7'5", stop with the 7'3.5" stuff, right? Because he's always wearing shoes on the court. A 7'5" guy who can create his own shot already, and that's only going to get better. He can already create his own shot at 7'5". Now, it depends on the defender, depends on the length of the guy guarding him, but already against most guys, he can create his own shot. He can get to certain spots. He's got a good three-point shot. His percentage could be better, and that's going to improve, especially in working with the Spurs developmental guys, but he can already shoot. His strength and his awareness and the guys that he plays with is going to improve. When he gets in the block, he's going to get better at when guys front him. He's going to know to pivot around and go to the other in the lane, go to the other side of the key, go to the top and do a little high-low action. All that stuff is going to come. When he puts it all together, it's going to be scary. And when I say he puts it all together, I'm talking a couple years down the road. But already, to have a guy who's 19 and looks like that and plays like that and then produces the way in which it did last night, like that's why you hear these lofty terms thrown around, and that's why you hear the unrealistic expectations, is because of what we saw last night. Now, he's going to have a lot of nights like what we saw last night during the regular season, but again, be patient because he's also going to have nights like what you saw on Friday night as well.
Talking to Hector Ledesma of Sports Tonight, the most impressive thing that Victor Wembanyama did on Friday night was the post-game interview, both on the court and on the podium. Coming out and saying, hey, I'm just glad we won. Great thing to say. Great thing to say. But then secondly, to back it up by saying, look, it's been a whirlwind. I haven't practiced with these guys. I don't know the plays. I don't know what we're doing. And then you compound that with the whole Britney Spears fiasco. You compound that with the fact that you had so many people there live on ESPN, the world looking at you, and the guy's just 19 years old. He could have just withered away a little bit, could have been down on himself, but instead came out yesterday and exerted himself. And it's just one of those things when he went out there early on, it looked like, the ball was being stolen from him. He wasn't holding onto the ball tightly, but as the game went on, he felt more comfortable out there. He looked more comfortable. It looked like it was all second nature. Like, you know what? I'm just playing basketball. I'm just doing what I do. And for him to go out there last night and score 27 points, grab 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. I have never seen somebody block so many 3-point shots than this guy. This guy deflects so much out there. But for him to bounce back really told me a lot about him. 9 of 14 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, getting scratched up. He looked the part. And it's one of those things where whether or not he does well offensively, we will learn that as time goes on. But what we know is that game one, day one, he's going to be a force defensively.
Yeah, he already is. He alters the game. His presence just merely alters the game. Now, you noticed it last night, and Charlotte was doing it some on Friday too, even in summer league play, right? Like where strategy isn't the goal. That's not what you prepare for. They're already, whoever he's guarding is already moving away from the basket. Even still, even with Wemby being near the 3-point line because the guy he's checking is out there, the moment he gets anywhere near the lane, and he covers so much ground that it only takes like a step for him to be, near the lane. You can tell that when guys go in the lane, they are already looking to pass, or they're already looking to get rid of it in some way, shape, or form, because they know that when he's there, if he's not guarding them one-on-one, he's going to alter what they want to do. And he's just already a menace. And then to your point, Mike, I thought another thing that I noticed in terms of just the character, right, and bouncing back from Friday's dud and playing a lot better last night, in terms of bouncing back, not only the character, but also he was smart enough to realize, okay, look, yes, I'm Victor Wembanyama, and I play at a different level. I'm at a higher I play at a different height than everybody else. But that comes with some things too, right? Like when I'm dribbling down the lane, just simple science. Like my center of gravity is higher than most. And so I can't be in the lane dribbling as high as I am or else it's going to get swatted. And
Right.
we saw that a lot on Friday. If you notice, he didn't do that nearly as often yesterday. He let the ball more come to him. He stayed on the perimeter, but his teammates did a little bit of a better job of finding him in spots. Still not great, a little bit of a better job than Friday. And then when he got there on the wing, he didn't force it. He looked to just stay out there and then, a couple of dribbles, then stop and elevate. The kinds of things that guys like Kobe can do, that stop and pop. Not everybody in the NBA can do it. Most guys in the NBA can't do it. Most stars can't do it. He already has it. Durant has it. And being able to do that, just stop and elevating, he's already 7'5". So he's literally unguardable when he does that, already having the presence of mind as a 19-year-old to say, okay, that totally didn't work on Friday. Right. Welcome to the NBA. One game later, let me not do that. So let me not get caught up and let me try something different.
He wasn't going face to the basket. A lot of what he was doing was backing in. So he was bodying them up, not so much with his girth, but with his height is what he was doing. He would drive in, see somebody come his way, back him up. It was a different approach that he did. One thing that I'll say that I really liked about what Wemby did yesterday, and I've noticed this more and more, and we see this with players like LeBron James. He walks back defensively, and I think that's a good thing. His strides are so long. If you go and watch that game yesterday, he was not running back on defense. And I'm not saying that he was being lazy. What I'm saying is that he realizes his strides are so long, he does not need to hustle up and down the court necessarily and get rid of energy, lose energy, and pound on his knees, pound on his feet. It's almost like he's deliberate when he's getting back onto the court, both forward and backwards, going on defense, going on offense. It's so scientific what he's doing on the court because he's different than everybody else. Because as you mentioned, with shoes, he is 7'5", and no one's that tall in the NBA. I like a lot of what I saw out there. Even Friday, when he was wet in the bed, I gave him a pass. It would have been difficult to give a pass after 2 games like that, but I'm so glad that he bounced back yesterday. I'm so glad. But I think you're right, Hector. You're onto something here. That he saw one game and went, well, that didn't work. But he has so many weapons in the tool belt, he could pull out another weapon and go, well, I'm going to do it this way then, and show success.
Yeah, and really, and at the risk of kind of going off on a tangent here, Mike, I think the one thing that's evident is he's already good. Mm-hmm. Like, we can talk later after we get a couple, maybe a month into the NBA. Where is he right now? Like among NBA players, where is he? Like at this very moment, where is he? It's way too early to have that discussion right now. But I think the one thing to me that I take away in watching these first 2 games is I wonder if the Spurs could get him a guy, and I say get him a guy, right? Because everything centers on him now. Right. If they can get a guy who makes the game easier for him, look out, man. Like already look out. Because can you imagine somebody getting him the ball in a spot like he's coming off and he's in movement, catch and shoot. Already they know where he's going to like it. They get him the ball in the spot and they recognize a mismatch and they get him in that spot against the mismatch and they put him in a spot where it's easy money for Victor, even more so than others. On the post, they're hey, he's being fronted. Swing it. Let's swing it around. The guy who's going to be able to orchestrate right off the bat. The other team's playing zone. Put Wemby in the middle. When you have him at the free throw line and free throw line extended, he's unguardable. Like there's nothing you can do if you can just lob it to him and he just turns and shoots. Why would you ever play zone against the guy? If you have a guy who can a floor general, a commander, a guy who recognizes all that stuff on the fly, a coach on the court this year.
You're describing Jeremy Sohan right now. Well, I think Sohan can be that guy, a pick and roll type. Like a Sohan Wemby pick and roll might be unstoppable. Because A, they can both rebound. B, they can both drive. C, they can both dribble. They have handles. they both have good floor vision. That's another thing about Victor Wembanyama. We're seeing the floor vision of what's there. There is a basketball IQ that goes along with his skill set. It's not that he's just tall and that's why he's good. It's because he's smart out there. Joker reaches out and says, Wemby's been playing against full-grown men in Europe for the last 3 or 4 years in a league that allows more physicality. Training camp and preseason will show the progress. Eugene reaches out, got upset that I said that Wemby wet the bed on Friday. Don't know how else to describe it. I mean, I'll give him excuses. He bounced back. I didn't jump off the Wemby train because he played poorly on Friday. I wasn't that guy. But by the way, we're all the hecklers, all the Spurs haters last night on Twitter. They all went away like cockroaches. They scattered.
Oh, no, they were still there because I went in on a thread and I saw what they were saying.
Yeah.
And even though Wemby had a better game, they're like, but it's summer league.
Yeah.
Right.
Now let me ask you this, Hector.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Exactly. You can't win with some people. Talking to Hector Ledesma of Sports Tonight, sports director over there. I have a quick question about what Wemby said after the game on the podium. He said that after Summer League, he's going to disappear for a month. My God, that's the smartest thing he's ever said. And whoever has decided within the Spurs organization that, yeah, he had the draft, he had the whirlwind thereafter, Summer League, Vegas, all that stuff, but just hide him away in the gym for 4
Mike,
5 weeks.
Along those lines, and as much as I don't like it, I get it. And the Spurs are just doing their job. They're already protecting him as much as they can. So, for example, they had their first Summer League practice last week. So, like the Thursday before these weeks are blending together. The Thursday before their first game in Sacramento, right? So they played in Sacramento on a Monday, which would have been a week ago today. The Thursday before they had their first Summer League practice. It's very common in years past for the Spurs to allow their top draft pick to sit down with the local media. Wemby didn't sit down with anybody that day. Like the only sit down he's had with anybody who's of any local coverage is the Spurs themselves, Michelle Beadle, in the interview with Wemby. Outside of that, and really since he's been drafted, I'm thinking, I don't think a national outlet has sat him down one-on-one. Like if you notice during either last night's broadcast or Friday night's broadcast, ESPN didn't cut to like a one-on-one conversation with Wemby at halftime of that game or in pregame, unless I missed it. So the Spurs are already, as much as they conceivably can, limiting his availability, and I understand why. Like he has to be available post-game. I get that. Like that, the Spurs can't control that. But of the things that they can't control, they're already doing their part. And I think Victor, after all of this, and you mentioned the Britney Spears earlier, just something like that, something silly enough like that happening, I think it hits more where he's thinking, I'm just gonna duck out for a bit, work out, hang out, get to know the city, get to know my teammates, but I'm just gonna duck out. I'm gonna disappear. And you're right. Like as much as I'm looking very much forward to sitting with him and having a conversation with him, like an actual conversation, not just boom, boom, rat-a-tat, quick questions, like getting to know him better. As much as I'm looking forward to that, I completely agree that him just disappearing for a while is the best thing that he can do.
I normally fault the Spurs for how they handle things PR-wise or media-wise. I'm glad that they did what they've done with him so far as not having the one-on-ones. They're at least leaving it open. It's not silence. Whether it be Michelle Beadle or a national type of organization, at least they're not letting him be silent. He's gone on JJ Redick's podcast, for example. He's done various things that is still allowing him to be accessible to the fans in one way.
And if I can just interrupt you, Mike, real quick, all that stuff, the JJ Redick podcast, the interview with Robin Roberts, that was all pre-draft night. The Spurs didn't yet have control.
I see what you're saying. I see, but I'm getting enough of him, though. I'm getting enough of him.
But to your point, I agree with you. Like he did the blitz and he did what he was asked to do. But once the Spurs drafted him and it fell into it now became their responsibility. And they had what's the word I'm looking for? They had the words escaping me right now. It was their prerogative. They had to
Yes.
say over whether they could mandate who he was going to talk to in given settings. That stopped. Those one-on-ones and the full conversations stopped.
Live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter with Hector Ledesma, sports director of Sports Tonight. We have several comments coming in. Ryan saying they won't be talking when we add another championship banner to the rafters at the AT&T Center in coming years. Drew saying, not a fan of the Spurs brand of state-sponsored media. That's an old phrase that I used back in the day. Rudy saying that Wemby is taking a month off to collaborate with Britney Spears. I hope not. I like the comment from Jason, by the way, which is up there. It says, it's the project, not the process, especially not the project. So, again, the Spurs are treating Wemby well so far. I'm going to give the Spurs, going to be honest with you, if I have to give the Spurs a grade in what they've done since he's been drafted, I'm going to give them an A or an A+. And I typically give them crap, but props to what they've done so far. And Victor Wembanyama is beyond the talent. It's the ability to understand how educated he is and how he comes forward. He knows that there's a process in place in front of him. He knows that he's not going to take over the NBA in one day, but it's going to be a series of things that happen, and that he's going to need the mentorship of David Robinson and Tim Duncan and all the other big guys that have worn the silver and black as well. But the Spurs are back in action tomorrow against Washington. Then their final summer league game is Friday against the Detroit Pistons. Both of those games, late tip-offs, both of those games on NBA TV. Do you expect to see Wemby at all in any of these games? Because I was under the impression he was only going to play 2, but ESPN was talking about him playing the next 2 games.
Yeah, well, my initial thought was we're not going to see Wemby again after last night. We'll see. Here's what gives me pause, and here's why I'm not quite sure. He was winded on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got an opportunity to play a game tomorrow. He's got another opportunity to play. And then I think, like, after the scheduled games, they get at least one game in the, for lack of a better term, I don't know if they call it the knockout stage, but I think he gets one more game. So the Spurs have at least 3 more guaranteed games. If you're the Spurs and you look at that, you go, we have a chance to play him in a game-like situation and get, those the legs from under him and the lungs going a little bit, that good basketball form, especially considering after Summer League, in terms of organized team workouts. Yes, they're going to be at the gym. They're going to be at the facility. And they're going to be running up and down. But in terms of game type situations, this is it until early October and preseason. In terms of the hard, multi-hour practices, this is it until training camp. So I'm wondering if maybe they do let him play some in the next couple games. But my initial thought is that we saw his last game in the Summer League last night.
I'm okay if they sit him down. I really am. Shut him down. There's nothing to gain out of this. We saw what he can do against Summer League talent, right? 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. Though Matt Lerma reaches out to us on YouTube and says the next game is against Bilal. I think he'll definitely want to play that game. Bilal was his teammate there for the Metropolitans 92. That would be an interesting wrinkle there, but I honestly believe, just like you, that the Spurs are going to shut him down, that we'll get word about that. That's my prediction when it comes to it. Real fast before we let you go, Hector, thank you for being on, by the way, sports director over at Sports Tonight. I've known you for many, many years. I used to be a reporter and producer over at KBB back when you were a new sports reporter and sports anchor there at KBB. I know what later G means, by the way. That's an inside joke. But that being said, I was calling you on the phone this morning, and we were going back and forth, and I'm still laughing inside because you mentioned that you had to go to the airport to drop off your wife today, and you're like, I think I'll be able to make it, but I go drop her off. And we were talking about back in the day, pre 9/11, what it was like for Mexican families to go to the airport to drop off loved ones. Describe what that moment used to be like.
Okay, so Tia Sally, Tia Marty, Tia Mona, Tio Roland, Tio Sal, Tio Jesse, Tia Jackie, Tia Nina. I appreciate all you guys making all those trips to the airport. So a lot of you guys will probably get this, again, pre 9/11. Anytime you went like out of town somewhere, And remember the days where you could go up to the gate, right? Like you could go all the way up, get to the gate. Like the entire familia would come up and like would be sitting. They'd take up all the seats at the gate.
It was like a train station.
Waiting for me to like get on the plane. And then I would hear that after I'd get on the plane, like, and they would fly, like they would watch it fly away. They would wait till it took off, you know. And then the best was when I'd come back home, and I guess I should kind of say this is under the context of I went to Syracuse, so like, and I'm, you know, born and raised on the West Side. You know, the family lives all in San Antonio, so very tight, like so many grew up, you know, family barbecues all the time, you know, parties always together. So that was the dynamic, you know. So when I had come back from Syracuse, like, you know, end of the first semester, end of the spring semester, whatever, same thing. Like they'd be all waiting at the gate, but this time when I'd land, we'd go to either like Panchitos on Zamora and Cerralbo, or we go to Taco Haven on South Presa, wherever. But like it was like, okay, I'm home. I've been up in the Northeast where their freaking version of a breakfast taco is a bagel, and so I'm like, I need I need carne asada, you know, or I need chorizo and egg. Like I need chorizo and bean, whatever. And so like all of us, like everybody would go from the gate to the airport parking lot, get in their cars, and like it's a caravan down 281 or 35 South or wherever from the airport. So
for my family, it was let's go straight to Los Barrios.
That's
what we would always do. We had a comment coming in from Chris saying it's a party whether you were leaving or arriving. And that's the thing. And that's why I asked you, we were just laughing about this over the phone. Was this a Hispanic thing only? Because I think it was. I think every other ethnicity or race just dropped you off at the gate, dropped you off and said, hey, have a safe trip. But the Mexicanos, the Hispanics, we would all be there, party of 20 to pick up one person, take up every seat. And it was just a nightmare getting in and out of the airport. But I miss those days, man. I miss those days. And it's a delay for 2.5 hours. Well, let's just all stay. They have the George Gervin bar. Let's just go over there. You know, let's just all stay.
Yeah. My grandma, my poor little old grandma, she'd be in the mix. They trot her out there. You know, I'm like, we could have left Ma at home. Like she's fine. We can meet her at Panchitos later. That's fine. You don't have to freaking come to the airport for this. But
no, there was one person who had to stay behind and get the table. Like there was one person.
There was always a person that left early to get the table, especially at Panchitos. Yeah, absolutely. It was not that
very nice. That is Hector Ledesma. Tell us about what's going on at Sports Tonight and how we can follow you.
So a lot of two is a number. Okay, so sportstonight.com, and then obviously we got the YouTube page as well. Same, you know, all of it, it's branded the same way with the 2 as the number. Social media, at Sports Tonight, TX, Texas, and then I'm at Hector Ledesma TV, and then same with the Facebook page, Instagram, and then I think we got to do something with Threads too. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Thank you. We got to do something with Threads too, although I'm not smart enough to figure any of this stuff out. Like I'm awful. Like I'm absolutely awful with social media. So at some point we'll have all of that stuff. But yeah, appreciate it, Mike. It's, you know, all that good stuff. And then on the TV side, we do sports updates on KCWX TV throughout the day. And then Sports Weekly is a show that airs Saturdays at 5:30. So all of that kind of connected under the Sports Tonight / Quarter Moon Productions umbrella.
And a friend of our show, Carolina Teague, oftentimes does work with you guys from time to time.
Yeah, Carolina's awesome. So Carolina comes by and she does more than simply help us out. She's vital, especially with how awful I am with social media. So yeah, thank goodness for everything she's done in that regard.
Well, get this. This is who we have this week. So we had Hector Ledesma on Monday. Tuesday, it's Tuesdays with Teague. So we're going to have Carolina tomorrow. Wednesday, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Thursday, we've got Casey Vieira from Ken's 5. And on Friday, Mariana is coming in. Mariana Wegner. She's going to teach our listeners how to get dates on social media. Okay? How to clean up their dating profiles, how to find love. You know, she judges people's profiles and says, take this photo out, do this instead, say this instead. You know, this show is more than just sports and pop culture. We're going to help people get laid and get paid, I guess is what you're going to say, is when it comes to things. But
just an added bonus for watching.
Yes, and Mariana is great, by the way. This is the great thing about having no filter and being able to talk about what we want to talk about, right? And by the way, Hector, how dare you advertise what you do? It should have just grown organically.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, you know what? Hey, bro, this is Sports Tonight, and the sport. You guys were awesome enough to just have it up. You guys. The Sports Tonight Twitter page is the perfect example of why you do not let things grow organically. It just sat there for years. Like it just like because this is Sports Tonight, for those who don't know, we would put on 3 30-minute TV shows per day. Long story short, when the pandemic hit, it really affected because we weren't affiliated with an ABC or a KSAT, ABC like KSAT, CBS or an NBC. It really affected what we could do. So that what you're seeing on your screen, that Twitter page has been up for a while. We never did anything with it. It was just there. Like we were so consumed with TV, whatever. Well, now it plays a bigger role, and that's why you see it's only got the 949 followers because idiots like me are like, oh, it'll take care of itself. People will know where it is. Blah 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 blah. It's like, yeah. So, case in point, that's what happens when you try to grow things organically. Of course, people would blame me, and rightfully so. Like, yeah, fine, whatever. I'm doing a lot of things wrong, but I think that to me is the classic case of growing or lack of growth organically.
This reminds me. I don't know if you're a big fan of Schitt's Creek or not. But there's a scene in there where Alexis tells Stevie, hey, the motel really needs to have a website. She goes, I have a website. And she goes, no, you have a website that has a construction worker that says we'll be back, under construction or whatever the case may be. I don't know where it reminded me of that. But again, it's about marketing. It's about advertising. You treat a business as though it is a business, because if you don't treat it as a business, you'll soon be out of business. But that is Hector Ledesma, sports director over at Sports Tonight. I've known you for so long. Thank you for being on today. And, we would love to have you on here as often as possible. So
anytime. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Joe. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Hopefully I can get you as a guest on my Two Shots podcast. We can talk Spurs.
Yeah. Whenever you guys want, you'll be more than a pleasure.
Yeah. You were a great guest too. Look forward to more shows with you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Great comment coming in from Fred right now on YouTube saying regarding the airport family trips, you have to understand that so many Hispanic family members back in the day had never been on a flight. It was a sign of an accomplishment and progress. The good old days, LOL. Love it. Love it. Thank you to all the subscribers again on YouTube. Today, we hope to hit 500 because tomorrow is the 1 month marker of the announcement that we made that this podcast, this network was going to exist. So again, if you have friends, family who are sports fans that don't know about this show, spread the word. I ain't too proud to beg when it comes to it. Hey, we were talking about Victor Wembanyama. If you want to know more about the Spurs, subscribe to Locked On Spurs. Our good buddy Jeff Garcia over at Locked On Spurs. I'm actually today's guest on Locked On. We were dissecting the first game that Wemby played in the Summer League out there in Vegas, where he did not do so well. But again, Locked On Spurs, it's daily coverage brought to you by Jeff Garcia. And it's interesting because Jeff brings a lot to the table when it comes to Spurs coverage. First and foremost, he follows the team like intently, right? He does the post-game interviews. Coming back to San Antonio will be a fixture there as a member of the media out there. He brings you one-on-one interviews. The podcast, which is daily, I consume it on Spotify every single day. You'll see Joe on there. I'll be on there. Lots of our good friends like James Pledger is oftentimes on there. But we talk a lot about Wemby.
Even Casey Vieira.
Casey Vieira was on there last week. And by the way, you can follow Jeff Garcia on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. He has a Threads. Unlike Hector Ledesma, he has a Threads. He has changed his handle to Jeff G Kens 5 SA. Again, Jeff Garcia's Threads is at Jeff G Kens 5 SA. Again, subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast. I do it on Spotify, but there's other ways. I'm sure there's Google this and Yahoo, and not Yahoo. That's old time. I was thinking of Apple Play, but there's Google and Apple and different ways of doing it. I do it on Spotify because that's my old-fashioned way. But again, Jeff Garcia is a good friend of the show. Speaking of a friend of the show, we're gonna have a new friend of the show hopefully next week, and hopefully at this time she will be a multi-millionaire. Let's show some photos of our good friend Rhonda DiMortino.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get that up over
now. For those of you who don't know, I'm a really big fan of poker. I have played a couple of World Series of Poker events in the day back in the day. I almost cashed in one of them. I played the $1,000 World Series in 2012, and I finished 600th place out of 2,800 in the top 500 cashed. So I almost cashed. But I've been following Rhonda DiMartino because she plays a lot over at Rounders Card Club, also at SA Card House here in San Antonio. In the past, I've done play-by-play at Rounders. They have a YouTube page where you can follow a table of high rollers, and someone has to do the play-by-play, and I've done the play-by-play in the past.
So you tell me you're sitting at the high roller table?
No, I'm in a room. I'm in a room where I can see all their cards.
Oh, okay.
And it's also a 10-minute delay. So, it's one of those things where I cannot influence what's going on because, they have to have it on a delay. But they get their cards, they put them down on the felt, and it senses what they're holding, and the percentages pop up, and I do a play-by-play. A good friend of mine, JJ Garena, and I would do play-by-play together. So she is somebody that I followed for a while and on social media as well. She's a very nice lady, very attractive woman. She is a bulldog, a shark when it comes to poker. In fact, that photo that you're showing right there on the left-hand side, you see those gold blocks right there? That's $1,000 each. And she cashed out at SA Card House the other day for $105,000. She didn't buy in for $100,000. She just said that she took everyone's money at the table. So why am I bringing her up? It's because she is playing the main event at the World Series of Poker right now, and they're going to shuffle up and deal San Antonio time, I believe, 2 o'clock here, 12 o'clock over there. They played till past midnight last night. Locally, they played till about 3 a.m., right? Is $93 million up for grabs over there. And right now, 1,517 players are still around. 1,507 make money. So only 10 people need to bow out before she gets money. So right now, the way that they handle this is it's called the bubble. Every table plays a hand and they stop to see if anyone got knocked out because they're counting to see who is still left, right? And again, she just needs 10 people to bounce. Right now, she's sitting with an amount of over 300,000 in chips. She's 727th place overall as of right now, which puts her about midway when it comes to stacks. Okay. The winner gets $12 million. But just placing in the money, just having 10 people bow out, literally, she doesn't have to show up. She could just sit out for about 10 minutes. She'll be in the money. 15,000 minimum. So a profit of 5,000 minimum if she gets it. But again, as it progresses, she gets into the top, 1,000, top 900, top 800. It goes from 15,000 to 25,000 to 40,000. And it just gets higher and higher and higher. Final table. Last place in the final table makes $900,000. Everybody else gets over $1 million. Rhonda DiMartino, follow her on TikTok. Follow her on Instagram, which is what we're showing her page right now. She's a great follow. She is a shark at poker. She's from the San Antonio area. And good luck to her. Good luck to her because a couple of things. Not only do I want her to win and do well because she's from San Antonio, but also we've been going back and forth on social media. Hope to have her on the show next week or so. But on top of that, women in poker. At the World Series of Poker, it is a sausage fest out there. And I would bet you maybe only 2 or 3% of the participants are women.
Yeah, you've only heard of a handful. You've only
Yes.
heard of a handful of women that are actually in the World Series of Poker. So kudos to her for, making it in.
Absolutely killing it. And I will tweet and announce when she does make the money because she is. I mean,
oh yeah, no doubt.
She shows up 10 minutes late, she'll be in the money.
Well, she belongs there because she's a really good poker player.
Oh, she's excellent at what she does. And she has been out there playing various tournaments and doing well in some, doing bad in others, winning some cash games. But she does very well for herself. So I'm a big fan. So we hope to have her on the show pretty soon. I'm also a big fan of Cynthia J. Sanchez of J. Parr Real Estate. She is my personal realtor, also one of the sponsors of the Acquired Taste podcast. We're calling up her information right there, 210-273-0748. She was telling me over the weekend that she sold a house this past weekend with a 4.2% fixed interest rate. How is that possible?
That's crazy.
Yeah, everybody else and their mama getting 7%, 8% right now, paying so much for their houses. They don't realize that you can actually still get a low interest rate if you go to certain home builders who will finance it internally. Cynthia J. Sanchez knows which neighborhoods in San Antonio and the surrounding communities will allow this and are doing this, which home builders, because not just one, it's several, and she can line you up with the home that you want. And you don't have to sit there and think to yourself, my God, it's 7%. The house payment is double what it used to be. No. House prices have come down maybe a little bit because of the high interest rates. And if you can still get a low interest rate on top of it, she'll show you how. She'll show you where. Cynthia J. Sanchez, JPAR Real Estate, 210-273-0748. And also, if you buy a house through her, maybe it's a pre-owned one, she will actually pay for the first year of you having a warranty there in case something happens to the water heater, dishwasher, AC, or other mechanical appliances. If they break down due to wear and tear, the warranty will cover that and much more. It's a $600 value just by using her as your realtor. Again, Cynthia J. Sanchez, JPAR Real Estate, 210-273-0748. Again, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs will be with us on Wednesday. Again, subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast. Lots going on there. And I'm looking forward to the fact that we have our schedule lined up because we got Tuesdays with Teague tomorrow. We've got Jeff Garcia on Wednesday, Casey Vieira on Thursday of Ken's 5, and we have Mariana Wegner, dating expert, telling you guys what you need to know, what women want, right? That'll help you guys out. She will be on Friday. Lots of fun content over here because we do more than just sports. We do pop culture. We do things nostalgic as well. Hey, real fast though, Joe, did you? I was so fixated by Victor Wembanyama that it was like, wait a minute, that's right. USA was playing Canada.
Yeah, they sure were.
So what a great match. I got to see the tail end of it, which is good because that is all that mattered. It was scoreless for 86 minutes, but then he had 4 goals scored after the 87th minute. And the U.S. scored the first one, then found themselves down 2-1, then got to a penalty kick portion of the game, the overtime portion of the game, because they tied it up when Canada had an own goal on itself. The goalie deflected a shot off of his own player that ricocheted back into the net. 2-2. Goalkeeper Matt Turner made 2 saves. When it came to the penalty kicks, U.S. won 3-2. U.S. is now on to the CONCACAF Gold Cup semifinals. They play Panama in the semis Wednesday in San Diego. The other semifinal matchup is Mexico taking on Jamaica. The championship this weekend at SoFi in Inglewood, California, just outside of L.A. But it's interesting seeing how men's soccer in the United States is actually getting better. It's finally happening.
Yeah. They were pretty bad for a while, man, for a long while.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that they're getting better. But the funny thing is yesterday's score, if you just go ahead and you just Google it, you're a casual and you look at, let me see what the USA did against Canada yesterday. You're going to be confused by the score because it says 2-2.
Right.
But you have to look under penalties. That's where it says 3-2.
3-2. That's exactly what it is. And I mean, think about it. To go up 1-0 with 8 in the 87th minute, it's like, okay, we got a few more minutes. Some stoppage time, just get it over with. And then, it's tied at 1-1. Oh my God, we're down 2-1. And then to have the miracle happen. Now, the reason why I got tied 1-1 was because of a handball. It was a handball in the box and there was a penalty kick and it tied it up at 1. But USA kind of bounced back, and to go into that penalty kick phase and go out there and just knock them down. It's good times, man. The last one by Canada off the crossbar. Also, another soccer note, in women's soccer, one of their superstars, Megan Rapinoe, announced that she's going to retire after the upcoming World Cup and after the NWSL season ends. She was Sportsman of the Year back in 2019. Very, very big star in the world of women's soccer. But we're expecting a lot from Team USA when it comes to the women's team in the upcoming World Cup. Lots of comments coming in. Drew Show says, all the poker nerds on my timeline jammed it up with Fernandez complaining about the WSOP main event play out structure. Please. Most dude poker players are taxing. Dude, playing at a World Series event's amazing. I want to go back and play another $1,000, $1,500 game. I'll never play the 10,000 though. That is too much money, and all those players are super good. I lasted 13 hours on the tables when I played there back in 2012. I played a satellite, so I've only played one real event. I played a satellite event to try to get into one a while back, but I've been playing a lot of poker these days. I was at a restaurant that used to be Miri Callender's on 410 and Callahan playing at a Vietnamese restaurant the other day. I was down a few $100 at one point, but I bounced back, and I only lost 60 on the night.
Not bad.
So I'm still up 260 for the month, so not too bad.
Yes. Over here we have a comment by Chris Gonzalez telling you not to forget SAFC's mighty win.
Yeah,
that they had 4-0 over
Memphis. 4-0 over Memphis. They're finally getting it going. It's about time.
Yeah, we have another comment here from Fred Villarreal.
Another clean sheet by SAFC's Jordan Farr.
Yeah.
Hey, let me know when the next one is, because the next one here in town, I want to go. The one that happened on July 1st, I had family stuff going on that I couldn't go. But I can't wait to go later on this summer. And chances are it's going to be just me, because I know my kids and I know my wife don't want to go.
It's
so
too
invite
hot.
me over, baby. Invite me over. I don't care if I'm in the stands. I don't care if I'm behind the pitch. I don't care where I am. With the Crocketeers, I would love to go again.
Oh, we'll be sitting with the Crocketeers. I know my boy Jason Garcia can do something for us.
Yeah. Jason's a good guy, man. He got me the Crocketeers scarf. That's very, very nice. And pop culture news. Jamie Foxx apparently alive and well. Who would have thought? I'm a big fan of Jamie Foxx, by the way. And if you ever want to see something pretty cool, YouTube search Jamie Foxx, George Strait. There was an event where he sang in front of George Strait. You Look So Good in Love. Did an amazing job. An amazing job. Well, Jamie Foxx had some sort of medical emergency earlier this year, and people feared that he might die. And he was hospitalized for quite some time. And it's weird, because you would think that TMZ or Inquirer or some rag out there would actually know what happened, but no one knows the definitive word. And you have all these celebrities and family members who are going over there to see him in the hospital, leaving, not saying anything other than the fact that he was, quote unquote, a medical emergency. Now, he's still in rehab, right? Now, I'm not saying rehab as in drug rehab. It's not that. It's a physical thing that's going on. And the superstar actor, singer, and comedian is in a rehab facility in Illinois, just outside of Chicago. This past weekend, TMZ posted photos of him apparently out and about for the first time since that medical emergency back in April. He tweeted for the first time in months, living the boating life. He was on the Chicago River. And then it showed him swinging some clubs over at Top Golf last night, just outside of Chicago. Now, the thing about it is that people said that he looked like he was walking well and that he was swinging the clubs well. These are all very, very good things. But he did go back to the rehab facility, and everyone's trying to speculate exactly what happened. And I've seen reports out there that say that they have no confirmation about anything about what happened. But Jamie Foxx is at a facility that typically treats those who experience strokes. No confirmation on that, but it's nice to see him out there. Jamie Foxx is from Tyler, Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, one of the things too that I guess the media was doing was they were spending all these different types of headlines. He's already on death's door. Basically he was on life support, and he
might have been.
And the thing is that his daughter's the one that actually came out and said, the media is saying all these things and they have yet to go ahead and talk to us, the family members. And she said, I'm proud to announce that all this stuff is a hoax. My dad has left the hospital and is recovering. That's all she said, because it's a private matter at the end of the day. If he doesn't want to share that, he doesn't have to, but at the end of the day, there's some type of medical emergency that did occur. And however he chooses to share that, that's up to him, between him and his family.
No, I get that, but he's also a celebrity, so people are going to find out eventually.
Oh, they'll find out eventually.
This will not be, and it's been like months. But Jamie Foxx, I mean, he is one of those guys out there that is super talented on
dance. He can sing, he can produce. He does it all, man.
I mean, I remember him collaborating with Kanye West.
Yeah,
Gold Digger. That's him back there. all the movies that he's been in. He's been
Ray?
in Ray.
Yeah.
He shows his range. He can act. He's a comedian. I mean, in Living Color back in the day. I mean, he is amazing. And I'm taking a look at Rotten Tomatoes of the highest ranked movies according to the tomato meter at Rotten Tomatoes of Jamie Foxx movies. Number one is actually a movie called Soul that came out in 2020. Never seen it. Never heard of it.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
It says the movie is about a middle school band teacher whose life hasn't quite gone the right way or as he expected. Okay. Number two, they have Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't necessarily consider that to be a Jamie Foxx movie, but okay. Number three, Baby Driver. That was an okay movie. I mean, everyone made it seem like it was the greatest movie of all time. It was Now, one that I would consider to be a movie that is Jamie Foxx starred in, a starring role, is Django Unchained at number 4. Gonna be honest with you, hated that movie.
Really?
Couldn't stand it.
You're not a Quentin Tarantino fan, are you?
No, I like a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies. I just didn't get that one. Number 5, a movie that I love. This is ranking according to Rotten Tomatoes, the greatest Jamie Foxx movies. Collateral with Tom Cruise. That is a great movie. That is a movie that I'll watch at least once a year. Very suspenseful. He's the cab driver who is being abducted, if you will, by Tom Cruise, who's a hitman.
Yeah.
And he's being forced to go along with the ride. Just Mercy is ranked number 6. That was a very, very good movie with Michael B. Jordan.
The Truth About Cat and Dogs. I forgot about that.
That's number 7 on that list there. Starring also Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman. Number 8, Dreamgirls with Beyonce, Eddie Murphy, Jennifer Hudson, and Jamie Foxx. That was actually a good movie. Number 9, they have ranked as Ray, which came out in 2004. Also starred Kerry Washington and Regina King. And then lastly, at number 10, they have Rio. Nowhere listed on here. Oh, there it is. Ali at number 12. That's a little bit low. It's been a while since I've seen Ali. Maybe it's the hate towards Will Smith is the reason why it's down.
And the slap heard round the world.
Oh, look at number 18, Any Given Sunday. That's right. Jamie Foxx was Willie Beeman.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, entertaining movie, but it wasn't a very good one. It's entertaining, okay? This is the kind of movie that is, it's the sports version of Independence Day, the sports version of Armageddon, which is, it's a bad movie that happens to be very entertaining, and therefore you continue to watch it.
One of the best scenes of that whole movie was funny to me was when they're having that game, they're having their championship game, and one of the guys is screaming because he gets hit so hard his eye falls out, and it's just there on the turf.
Yeah, that's so stupid. So stupid. This movie is so bad. Any Given Sunday is so bad, and Al Pacino is the worst football coach of all time. And everyone's like, no, man, that speech that he does that just pumps up the team, it looked and felt like he had never watched a football game in his life. And you're going to say that this guy would inspire you to run through a wall? No, man.
Don't forget Cameron Diaz as the team owner.
Oh, she was good in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, she was playing somebody who's kind of born with a silver spoon in her mouth, you know, but very tough, though.
Yeah.
Kind of learns along the way. She's very good. Matt Lammer reached out and says, dang, I just quote Django in my conversations. I assume everyone understands. I mean, so, Matt, are you telling me you cuss every 3 words? Because that's basically what it was. That's basically what it is. Josh reaches out and says, Jamie Foxx is a rare and amazing talent, decent actor and comedian, but he has a great voice. Plus, he has a great hit song that gets referenced a lot. Oh, blame it on the alcohol. Nice. Chris Gonzalez reminding us that July 22nd is Dollar Beer Night for San Antonio FC. So that's coming up in about a week and a half or so. So very cool about that. Other news that we wanted to get into was, I don't know if it's news, but this past weekend I saw the movie Elemental.
Oh, did you?
It's a kid's movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I really liked it.
Really?
I really, really liked it. I took my wife and 2 of my kids we went to Flicks over here on 1604.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of bougie. I like the Flicks Brew House.
Yeah,
man.
okay. Yeah, okay. So that is one thing about me is that, you know, I kind of stay away from Santikos, man. I grew up on Santikos. I grew up on Cinemark.
It's no frills, brother.
Oh, no. It's just like, come watch a movie. Get in here. Watch a movie.
Let's get your popcorn, sit down, and watch
your
the
ass
movie.
down and watch a movie.
Yeah.
No, I like going to the ones where they're like, can we take your order? We will get you your popcorn. Would you like butter with that? Do you need those little mini boats? Would you like a soda?
I want my gray poupon.
Would you like a margarita? would you like a margarita pizza with your margarita? What would you like?
Yeah.
You want gourmet cookies? That is me when it comes to the movies.
And the beer menu is really nice.
Yes, very good beer menu. They can get you drunk off your ass.
Oh,
over there.
no doubt. They got some pours that they have over there.
They do. They do. And it's so great because the movies, if you're going to spend a lot of money, like the Santikos I sometimes go to is Casablanca, which is a newer one.
Yeah.
It's in my neighborhood.
Man, you don't go to the Westlakes over here?
That's now a Alamo Draft House now.
It used to be the Alamo Draft House, the one that's just around the corner from where I live.
It's still Draft House-ish.
Yeah.
I've gone there a few times before. I'm not going to say that it's my favorite. They have a nice little comic book place that's next to it.
Well, they used to. Now now it's like they have an arcade in there and they have a little sports bar as you walk in that's right off to the right. It's a nice little place to hang out.
Chris Gonzalez reaches down and says, love flicks, but I'll go to Santikos only on Tuesdays. I'm assuming that they have a deal.
Yeah, I think that's when they have the military night.
Yeah.
And it's like $5.
Josh reaches out and says, it's a game of inches, Mike. God, what a stupid ending to any given Sunday. What a stupid ending. But Elemental was good. And what the funny thing about it is that about 15 minutes into it, I thought to it, wow, this sucks. But they turned it around and it actually became a very good and thought-provoking movie. And the thing about it is that these movies that are Pixar, that are things like that, are really designed to teach kids how to be good people and not how to be racist and not how to be sexist. That's the underlying theme of a lot of what they talk about. They just don't say it, but that is the theme. Don't be a jerk is basically it.
Yeah.
But I did see the trailer, the updated trailer to Barbie. I'm going to go watch it. Opening weekend, dude. Opening weekend, I'm going to go watch the Barbie movie. Margot Robbie, hot as hell. Ryan Gosling
It's
playing Ken.
Oh, there's several Kens in this one.
Yeah, so the whole thing about it is that Barbie leaves the toy life and becomes human somehow and is trying to get back into the toy universe, I guess is what I'm taking out of it. I can't wait.
It looks like a spoof, a movie that's making fun of itself. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a Barbie movie where it's like, oh, it's about Barbie. It's a movie that makes fun of Barbie, which, by the way, Childish Gambino on Saturday Night Live about 4 years ago, YouTube search Barbie commercial starring Donald Glover or Childish Gambino. Amazing. It's one of the funniest sketches of all time where they're hiring people to do Barbie commercials. No, I'm sorry. They're hiring people to run Barbie's Instagram account and they all have to come up with captions and his captions are so absurd. So great. Childish Gambino is one of my favorites, man. He's so great. But my goodness, I'm going to see right now. Did we get to 500 during the show? I'm not expecting that we did, but it'd be nice to have gotten, I don't know, 1 or 2. Did we at all? We got 3 during the show. We are at 496.
Ooh, knocking on the door.
4 away from 500. We are going to get to 500 today. Thank you so much for spreading the word, everyone who's listening right now. We try to make this show where it's easy to understand at 12 o'clock, but you can enjoy it just as well at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. We talk about sports, nostalgia, pop culture. I like the fact that Chris brings up the fact on YouTube. Don't forget that America Ferrara is in this movie. I'm a big fan of America Ferrara as well. I'm a big fan of the show Superstore, which is on Hulu. She does a very, very good job about that. And it seems as though people are going back and forth about Django Unchained. I think it's one of those movies where you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not the prude who says I don't like the language. But if every third word is a curse word, I don't want to watch it. Now, I don't mind a lot of cussing. That I don't mind. I'm not a prude.
Yeah.
But there is a limit to which I want to watch. And it got a little too far, man. It got a little too far. Again, I like what Chris Layhouse says right there on YouTube. 4 more to the party. We're going to karaoke. We'll figure it out, man. Joe, you don't have to get together. Yeah. Friday night or Saturday night. I'm thinking of Saturday night karaoke night.
Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe, like, and hit that notification button.
That's right. Yes. And before you go, like. That is all good. Again, subscribe to us. I found when I was doing the metrics of YouTube, 20 some odd percent, I think it was like 28% of those who watch this are not subscribed to this. 28% of our viewing hours are by people who are not subscribed. What the heck is going on? Just hit the button, say subscribe.
Subscribe.
Just
hit the notifications. You know, you get a little pop up every time we go live. You know.
Yeah, because we're not trying to grow organically. We're trying to kick San Antonio's ass when it comes to sports talk radio, man. That's what we're trying to do.
You know what? And our friend of the show, Mike Taylor.
Yeah.
He's doing the same thing. He's pushing his narrative too. You know, you can't just be on the sidelines.
And that's the great thing. Whether we do things individually or one day work together, I will say this about Mike Taylor. He does a really good job.
Yeah, he does.
And in a city of 3 million people, there is enough people out there for there to be 2 competing stations on a podcast level, a live podcast level. They're asking the question, can I tell who the 500th subscriber is? I actually can. It will tell me. They're not going to win anything. They'll get kudos.
Well, if you go to the karaoke with us, maybe Mike will buy you a little drink or a pour or something.
That's right. So how are we going to celebrate? We got to find a bar. Reach out to us, DM me.
Is Jeff going to be here?
No, Jeff won't be here. Jeff won't be back in town. He's moving back to San Antonio, I believe, in like 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
That gives him another opportunity to go out there and get some more steak. Some more steaks
he has
delivered
to
to his
get
house.
the Uber Eats steak, the bougie steak.
Oh my God. It looked delicious.
It
though.
did.
It looked delicious. But again, subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast. I am today's guest on Locked On Spurs, but again, it's daily content when it comes to your San Antonio Spurs. He has had past stories in the past few days about people who are trying to make money off of fake Victor Wembanyama trading cards, talking about Wemby's performances in game 1. Medically, what does he need to do to recover? Lots going on when it comes to the Locked On Spurs podcast. And then again, you can subscribe to Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And he's also on Threads at Jeff G Kens 5 SA. And again, a big shout out again to one of our sponsors, Cynthia J Sanchez of J Par Real Estate. Got her number out there one more time, 210-273-0748. 210-273-0748. If you are buying a home, if you are selling a home, if you're looking to get a rental property, an Airbnb, anything like that, reach out to Cynthia J Sanchez, 210-273-0748. She has a lender. She has lots of people who can get this going for you. She does a very good job working with the military community, faith-based community. I mean, she's just a really good person. Cynthia J Sanchez, 210-273-0748. Joe, before we go, we're gonna have to ask people to pitch a bar.
Okay.
I know Mike Taylor. I don't mind bringing up Mike Taylor because I don't feel like we actually compete against each other. It's a weird thing. I like Mike a lot.
Yeah.
He has McFinnigan's. That is his like hometown bar, right? I actually went to a Mike Taylor event the other day, and I got to see him out there.
Here we go. We have a recommendation from Daniel.
Recommendation: Round 1, North Star Mall has karaoke rooms. Interesting.
Matt Lerma has a recommendation.
Oh no, I think he's saying 497. So we're 3 away.
Okay.
We're 3 away. Alfred said he just subscribed. Let's see here. 497. This is like a PBS 498. We're at 498. Come on, baby. I know someone's watching right now who watches every damn day and has yet to subscribe. You know what? We're going to give it one more minute, baby. One more minute. It would be so funny if 500 happened here. Like, do we even have or do we need to come up with animation to celebrate this?
Right. We need to have something.
498. But I'm assuming that tomorrow we're going to celebrate this. Uh-oh, wait. Did we get another one? No, we're at 498 still. 498. We'll celebrate tomorrow. We're going to dance in the end zone tomorrow. Thank you so much for being part of this. Again, we're going to expand this show out to a couple of hours, probably sometime in August. Fantasy Gods begins August 6th. We're looking to add more content when it comes to UTSA football, when it comes to San Antonio FC, when it comes to NFL, Dallas Cowboys. Reach out to me if you want to be part of this, if you want to do a pilot episode or something like that to let us know what you can do. Reach out to me. I want to hear from you.
We should be at 499 because I just subscribed from my Two Shots page as well.
Okay.
on YouTube.
Are we cheating at this? We can't make 500.
Hey man, I gotta like it
We
too.
need to do this organically.
I'm the show producer. I can like the
You
show.
did not subscribe to our own channel?
I did, but
For
from my
shame.
two shots channel though.
For shame. You know what? I don't think I've done it yet.
Yeah, you see, you should like your own
No,
stuff, man.
we're gonna make this be number 500 at some point. But again, we'll dance in the end zone tomorrow. We'll celebrate 500. We'll do something, man. I don't know. I'll get a cookie cake or something that just says 500 on it. That'd be so great.
Cookie cake. I like it.
We have Aguilar reaching out saying, enjoy the show, Mike and Joe. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Spread the word. This is not a podcast. This is a movement. We are filling the gaps. Again, everyone have a great day today. Tomorrow is Tuesdays with Teague. Carolina Teague will be with us. She'll be in the house. We'll be talking about Spurs. We'll be talking about all things sports and pop culture with her tomorrow. Everyone have a great day. Have a safe day. Work hard. Play hard. See you guys tomorrow.